All right. Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to our live broadcast of the front row. I am so excited about today's conversation. As we've been doing this front row series, it's been so amazing to talk to the authors from the children lit world that are just truly making an impact with their work. And so I know many of you all have registered for today's talk. So just come on in, come on in. I want to explain what the front row is so that you can understand just how this format goes. This is very much so a conversation. Just imagine if we were sitting in the park one day. We're just talking about literature, just trying to figure out what's our favorite books and just sharing that. So this is very much so a conversation we are all having. So as you watch, if there's comments, if there's a question you want me to pose to Sharee, let me know. We have a set of questions, but also I'm always open to taking comments from those who are viewing. And we are going to be raffling off copies of Don't Touch My Hair. So I will be putting the link in. We have the brainchild behind the book here, and we're going to talk about just all of her amazing work. But again, as I said, this is definitely a conversation for us all. So if you have a question, want to make a comment, want to enter the raffle, all of those details are coming up. But we're going to start first with our amazing guest, Sharee Miller. How are you?
Hi, I'm amazing.
I
I'm
know you got.
outside, so excuse any background noise you might hear.
It's all good. You're doing what many of us want to do, right? Many of us are probably watching from our houses, like, "Oh, we want to go outside. I can't wait to go outside today." So, thank you for showing us what outside looks like. I definitely am so excited about this, and I want to just start with the beginning. For everyone that we interview, I always love to hear their story because we can read your bio, we can share all these amazing works, but I love to hear from you. What was the beginning like? Where you're from, like what got you to the point of where you are now as an amazing illustrator and author. And you have the floor.
Thank you. Well, I was actually born in Athens, Greece, because my father was in the military, so we were abroad when I was born. And he's originally from St. Thomas in the Virgin Islands.
Oh
So
wow.
when I was about 3, we moved back to St. Thomas. And that's where I grew up until high school or until college, pretty much. Um, and I always loved drawing and painting, and I would join art competitions, and I would be in after school art programs. And my mom loves to tell the story of how before I could write, I would tell her stories, and she would write them down.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I really loved in junior high making up comics for my friends and sharing them around with everybody. So I've always been writing and drawing. Um, and then for college, I decided to go to Pratt Institute, which is an art school college in New York, in Brooklyn,
Okay.
where my main study was illustration, and I had the chance to learn from some really good picture book illustrators, because the really great part about Pratt is all the teachers are people working in the industry. So
Awesome.
I had really good teachers who were working in the children's book industry and really taught me about it, and was able to introduce me to professional organizations where I was able to make connections and learn more and grow after I graduated as well. And now I'm here.
Yay. So you are around all these individuals who are in the field. You are, as your mom said, from birth, birthing out stories. What are the inspirations behind the stories that you write? And so, and this also can go for your illustrations. Like, what are the inspirations? Is it life events? Is it other people? What really fuels you in the work that you do?
I think it's really life events. It's
Mm.
stories I perceive, or ideas that bounce around in my head a lot, and my personal perspective on things. Like with Princess Hair, I was going through my own natural hair journey and
Mhm.
transitioning from chemically straightened hair to natural hair. And I really started to think about when I was younger, and that was the first time that I asked my mom to straighten my hair, and how at 25 was the first time I was feeling what my hair actually felt like. And remembering that feeling of being a child and wanting to change my hair because I wasn't seeing it represented in the media or in books.
Mhm.
And the first thing I remember wanting to do was be a princess and putting a towel on my head
Mhm.
to pretend I had long princess hair. But I was like, but our hair is princess hair, especially
Exactly.
now with like kids have so many hairstyles. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
all I had was like a puff and like and like two plaits when I was younger. But I was like, there's so many hairstyles you can have now.
Exactly.
So I was really excited about all those hairstyles and be able to like put them in front of children. So that was like the inspiration behind that. And
You
for
know,
Don't Touch My Hair, it's a similar, just like my own experiences.
and even what you're saying with princess hair, I think it's now becoming even more acceptable about natural hair, right? I've had locks now for 17 years, but I remember when I started my locks, it was like the end of the world. You know what I mean? Like I had long permed hair, and I just always was in love with locks. Like my first love with it was Lauryn Hill. Okay, so when she came out, I was like, oh my gosh, I love her hair. I want the same. And I remember all my friends and people around me being like, why would you cut your hair? Like, your hair is beautiful. And I think now, 17 years later, everyone has locks, everyone has twists, everyone has braids. But that just was not, that wasn't looked as royalty, as I would say, right? Like, I would say now people are more accepting of us just embracing our hair. So I definitely get the whole idea of like, I mean, my locks can be my crown as well, you know?
Yeah. My husband has locks. They've had locks for 10 years. And of course, their mom was like, oh, how are you going to get a job with those locks?
Hey.
I'm like, we're fine.
We still eat. We're good. We're good. Awesome. So even with saying life experiences, with all those things motivate what you write about, what would you say is your research or creative process? Like, do you um does the pictures come first? Does the story? Are you very much so like let me like what is your process for the books that you write? If there is one.
No, there's a process. I feel like they all kind of start with the image. Like,
Mm.
Don't Touch My Hair started with like a image of a woman in a space, like in a spacesuit, and like an alien trying to touch her hair. And I was like, man, no matter how far you go, people are going to try to touch your hair. And of course, Princess Hair started with just like drawing different hairstyles. Even my most recent book, Michelle's Garden, which is about a
Mhm.
Michelle Obama in the White House garden, it just started with like me drawing pictures of her just like gardening and like
Mm.
really like drawing lots of vegetables and fruit and like getting into like how colorful my book could be. Um, but I feel like different ones required different research. Like obviously the Michelle's Garden book required like research of the actual event because it's like telling a true story, even though it's like putting like a spin on it. But
Right.
and like for Don't Touch My Hair, I feel like I was just like trying to get as many perspectives on it as possible. Like
Mm.
there was a documentary at the time called You Can Touch My Hair, where these women in I think it's Union Square were like holding signs that saying you can't touch my hair to like start a conversation about why people want to touch their hair. And then there ended up being like a counter protest where people brought signs saying, don't touch my hair. What are you going to want to touch next? And
Oh my gosh.
it's just like really interesting, just like seeing other people's perspectives and like having that
Yeah.
influence the feelings in the book. And like not just like my own experiences with people trying to touch my hair. Just like really thinking about like the experience of someone who had a really big head of hair and how like their space is violated like probably on the daily. Like for me it doesn't happen as often, it's happened, but like just having like a giant afro, I feel like it's a different level of like attention that you get.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and of course listening to Solange, you know.
Exactly. Right. Right. You, this leads me to talking about Don't Touch My Hair. And before we get into the actual reading, I actually love your author's note. I was reading the book and I read it again last night. I love the note in which you're saying that I hope that after reading Don't Touch My Hair, children can learn the importance of asking for permission and of not being afraid to say no and not being afraid to hear no too. And
Yeah.
that in itself was really, really powerful. And I mean, and the reason I say that is because I think it's so important for us. I think sometimes we can look at saying no to someone as, okay, I'm being mean, right, or I'm being rude, but it's more so like, no, I'm actually respecting my boundaries. You know what I'm saying? And so I think using a book talking about hair, but allows kids and for whoever is reading it to understand that there's actually nothing wrong with me saying I don't want that. You know what I mean? And it's
Yeah.
actually okay for me to, if I want to explore, to ask first. You know what I mean? I think that I've definitely had the sister girl moment. People like, go reaching before talking. Like, wait, hold on. You know what I mean? Similar when I was pregnant, like, oh, want to touch? Oh, hold on. You know, you're invading my space. And so, why did you feel like that was important to put that author's note in it? Because I don't always see an author's note when I read a children's book. It's really like leave into interpretation. But I felt like you really wanted to make sure kids and families understood the message.
Well, especially after like watching that documentary, I was like, what is the actual lesson that we can have at the end of this? Like, what can we actually do that's actionable besides just like getting mad at people or yelling at people and having people not listen to you? So I really think that first you need to not be afraid to say no, because I feel like especially women and children are like often, like you said, afraid to be mean, seen as mean or like harsh, but like it's fine to like have those boundaries. And then being able to hear no, I think, is also a lesson that we need to have, because I feel like people will get defensive and people will like question like, oh, I'm just trying to compliment you, but it's like you're not really thinking, you're not listening, and you're not like processing what I'm saying. When, like, I'm not just saying no to be mean or to keep you from doing something you want to do. It's like actually stop and think and put yourself in the other person's position or in the other person's shoes, which I would really hope like by showing the emotions and don't touch my hair, it would really like put the message through, like how she's feeling. She doesn't like this. She does not like this. Like every step of the way, I try to like show like she she's not liking this. This is not fun for her. It's not a compliment. And like really just like bang that message home.
Yeah. And you know, and it's so funny because my friends always joke that I have a very expressive face. And I felt that when I was reading the book. I'm like, even if she didn't say no, her face is like, look, like can you back up? You know what I mean? So I really appreciate that, like you said, through the imagery, through the words, that we're really able to see the message of the book. And so with no further ado, we're actually going to do a live reading of Don't Touch My Hair. I want to read it just for those who may or may not have been familiar with this amazing story. And then we'll talk a little bit more with Sharee. And again, if you are watching and tuning in, thank you. Share so people can tune into this conversation. Feel free to ask questions. Let us know, like, oh, that's my favorite part, whatever it is, as we get to the live reading. And then we will continue with our conversation. So I have the pleasure of reading your book. Oh my gosh. Don't Touch My Hair. So we see here. All right. Also, may I ask, this is so dope. You have all these hands. All the hands are reaching for the hair.
Funnest part to draw.
All right. I am Aria, and this is my hair.
She's got lots and lots of hair.
I love my hair. It's soft and bouncy and grows up towards the sun like a flower. I love it up or down, styled or wild. I don't care. I just want to be free. Actually, everyone loves my hair too. When I walk down the street, I hear so many compliments. It's so big. How do you get it so fluffy? I wish I had hair like that. It's great that people love my hair, but some love it so much that they want to touch it. I don't like this. What does it feel like? They are so curious about my hair that they try to touch it without even asking for my permission. Oh, I want to feel. Me too.
Without even asking for permission.
She is like bolting down the street. I get very good at avoiding hands. I start looking for ways to hide my hair.
She's really doing backflips and karate and tumbles, jumping right off the book.
Right? I try blending in with the scenery, but I'm over here. So here, I want to pause for a second. I didn't notice this until the other day. I was reading with my son. He was like, look at that. It's like the beginning of the next page. So I want to talk about that after, but I thought that was really cool.
A little
Because
pre.
a little preview. I try hiding underwater, but that doesn't last long. Oh wow, I love your hair. Can I touch it? Even the octopus wants to touch
All eight of his hand.
it. I escaped to the jungle, but the critters just can't keep their hands to themselves. Let me touch. No, me first.
I was like, that's what it feels like sometimes.
It does.
So many people trying to grab your hair.
Even in the tallest castle tower, someone is always there, ready and waiting to touch my hair. Girl, your hair is fierce. No matter how far I go, it doesn't seem to matter. How did you get it so big? Finally, I find a place where no one wants to touch my hair, but after a few hours, I get lonely.
Yeah, all alone.
I decide to go home.
You can see here, everybody's waiting for the, the dragon, the monkeys, of course, all the people, the aliens.
I try my best to ignore the attention, but as a hand sinks into my hair, wow, it looks so soft. Oh, it's so soft. I decide I can't take it anymore.
They got her.
I'm like, oh my gosh, the rudeness. What is going on? I was like, that's it. That's enough. Don't touch my hair.
She's got everyone's attention now.
This is my hair. It's great that you love it. I love it too. But please, just look and don't touch without my permission.
And then they all feel sorry. They finally listen.
The next time someone asks to touch my hair, they ask, can I touch your hair? I reply, not today. Okay.
It's that simple.
But what's so also simple is just the idea of a lot of times we can, because of fear of hurting feelings, we put ourselves in these compromising situations. Like she had to run to the jungle and outer space just for what she could have said in the beginning of like, don't touch my hair. But it's in the sense of being considerate. We'll rather put ourselves in inconvenience than tell
Yeah.
somebody else what they need to hear.
Be like, do I need to be alone? Not be around just to have no one.
Exactly. Now it feels great to walk down the street without anyone trying to touch my hair. My curls are free to reach for the sun just like a flower. Some people still ask to touch my hair, but if I say no, they listen. How are you today? Hello. But if you ask nicely, sometimes I say yes.
Yeah.
The end. Woohoo! Awesome, awesome. Round of applause, round of applause. Again, this is Don't Touch My Hair. We are raffling this off. So I will be, after this live broadcast, posting how you can on my platform and on Semicolon. You can sign up to win this book. And we are raffling off a few copies. We actually bought 25. So we got 25 lucky families who will be blessed with this book. Before we get closer to our end part, the question I'm sure many of us who are watching who are authors are, how difficult was it for you to get your first book published? Because I think so many times in every career we can see someone and we're like, oh man, I can't wait till I can write my book and I want to get published and I want to do all these things. But what was the journey like for you? Were you out the gate someone who was able to get a publishing deal? I have some self-published authors I know who are watching. What was like your journey as far as getting a publisher and agent and all of that?
Um, my first book, Princess Hair, I actually self-published that,
Oh wow.
like, down. So I had been sharing art online, and like kind of I've grown a following, and like I said, I studied making picture books in school. I really wanted to like make a picture book, so I was used to in class just like making a full picture book from beginning to end, like as an assignment. And I was like, I just kind of gave myself an assignment to make the book that I wanted to make pretty much from beginning to end. And I published it on Create Space,
Mm.
which is Amazon's publishing platform where they like ship them per order, so you don't have to have like a box of books in your house. Um, and so I just like promoted that on my social media, and I went to like a couple events with like books. And eventually, later on, after I got my agent through SCBWI, I was able to like represent it to my publisher, Little Brown, who went ahead and traditionally published it.
Mhm. Mhm.
Don't Touch My Hair. So it was like a 2-book deal. So it was Princess Hair and Don't Touch My Hair. And Don't Touch My Hair wasn't finished yet. So that one I worked on with them. And then Princess Hair, we just kind of revamped the cover, and like I edited some of the artwork just to like clean it up. And they
Yeah.
did like
Yeah.
a treatment on it to make it like more fun. So that's my journey.
That's
Took
awesome.
a couple.
So for you was drawing and like that side of it was first before being an author, more so the drawing and the art piece.
Yeah, I mean, while I was at Pratt, we also like were writing the stories that we were illustrating. But I feel like first and foremost, I'm an illustrator, I guess. Because before, again, before I was traditionally published as a writer illustrator, I illustrated a chapter book series that was written by Kwamanzane Wallace. So that was like my first.
Yeah.
That was my first like traditionally published work that I worked on.
That's awesome. So with that, what would be your advice for those who are aspiring writers and illustrators?
I think it's so important to join things like SCBWI, the Society of Children's Book Writers and Illustrators. Um,
Mm-hmm.
really, like most of the opportunities that I've gotten have been through there. That's where I found my first agent. That's where I've met um, so many other authors and illustrators that I've been able to connect with and like grow with. Um, I've even met like publishers there. I've gotten jobs through there, just like meeting editors in person and
Mm-hmm.
art directors, and being able to be in the portfolio reviews like whenever they have events like that. I know it's all online now, so I don't know what the experience is like for that, but I definitely know like being there in person is like invaluable. Just being able to talk to people face to face, and like you're just in a room with like everybody. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
not like you're right there next to Dan Santat. You can just talk to him. He's like everyone's just in the room. It's so weird, especially when you when you get used to like just talking to people. You're like, oh, this is easy. You're just a person.
Right.
You were just on stage and now you're standing next to me. Cool.
Right. Right.
Other than that, there's really great programs like the Highlights Foundation that has
Mm.
like classes. Um, just like continuing to like seek out information about publishing, and like continuing to learn about it, because it really is like a business that you need to have information for to be able to grow with it. So you need to be like, not like be up on trends, but like be aware of like what's going on, even if you're not like addressing it specifically, because you don't want to just like write for trends, you want to write for yourself. But I think just knowing what's going on in the industry is very important.
I love that.
Knowing to avoid, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I love the idea of just, I mean, and we've had all kind of advice, but you're really one of the first people who just talked about like specific organizations and ways to get trained. Because I feel like in every profession, I think sometimes in the arts, even though I have many friends who are singers, musicians, they do different things in the art, just the idea of constantly being a student, right? And always knowing that you need to get better at your craft. So even if you're at a level, you need to get even better. And so the idea of making sure you are around those who are pretty much where you're trying to be, right? Is really important.
Definitely.
Awesome. So, what, as my closing question, what do you desire to do next in your career, Sharee? Is it illustrating? Is it still writing more books? Is it, what's next?
Definitely illustrating and writing more books. I'm working on a graphic novel now. I'm working on, that would be like the next thing, but I'm doing it now. Because like I've always loved making like comics even when I was younger. So being able to work on a graphic novel, I'm really excited about that. Just like a really like further illustrated way of telling stories. Maybe some teaching now that I have like more free time, but I'm still working on that. So don't come for me.
People like teaching, okay.
Like if you don't see it anytime soon, I'm still thinking about it. I'm still preparing.
Oh, that's awesome. Any like big, like before I end my career type thing you would want to do next?
I don't know, like a TV show would be cool. Yeah, go on a world tour. There you go. That's what I want.
Yeah.
I just want to travel and like talk to people about books.
That's awesome. Awesome. Well, as you all see at the bottom, my next question is how do we people stay up to date on what's going on? If you see at the bottom, this whole time we've been scrolling Sharee's Instagram, also her website. Is there anything you want to share about both of those spaces that they should look out for, or things that are going on in both of those platforms?
I mean, Instagram is really great to stay up to date. Like I update that the most. I really like share art very frequently, and like when my books are coming out, I share on there. And my website has like direct links to where you can purchase my books, and also like I have a shop where you can purchase stickers and like notepads that I'm selling. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Sharee, I am so excited that you, in the midst of being out in the world, took time to talk with us and just allowing us to get into a little bit of your background and what inspired your work. And so those who are watching, again, we want to say thank you to Sharee. Don't Touch My Hair is one of the books, again, that we are raffling off. Thank you for sharing this story. I think that this is an amazing story for adults and kids, not just kids. I will be putting the link how you can enter in that raffle. Again, I salute you and I look forward to seeing more of your work as it comes out.
Thank you so much. This was
no
so
problem.
fun.
Yeah, awesome. Well, enjoy your time shopping, girl. Buy something for me.
Okay.
All right, see you. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye, everybody.